legacy. So, what does it all mean? Is the purpose of life to learn to suffer? Is the purpose of life to tend to others who are suffering? Back in 1980, my pastor asked, "How do you keep thinking of all these things?" I replied, "I don't know, I just can't seem to help it." He said, "You know, in some circles that is referred to as a calling." And now I realize he was right. I began seminary when I was 32. For some, that would be the beginning of a second career, but I never had a first career. My college and work performance was fairly uneven. The jobs I held were fun and exciting as I learned new things, but inevitably I became bored and quit or was fired. On the other hand, many famous theologians, such as John Wesley, had their real epiphany somewhere around age 30. I suspect that a certain maturity of mind and spirit is necessary. Before that age, I did not have a lot of maturity. Going to seminary was a no-alternative decision. At many times after that, my only choice was to look forward and to put one foot in front of the other. 50 years ago, while heading to college, I imagined myself at the center of a huge room with doors of possibility all around. To move to one door meant moving away from the others. They told me I could do anything I wanted. I just had no idea what I wanted. So with the promise of a career as an ordained ministry with the United Methodist Church, where getting fired is unlikely, I moved toward one door, often by focusing on putting one foot in front of the other. I wanted to be a great writer. In the ministry, I wrote some 1,000 words every week, 50 weeks a year for 30 years. That's a great amount of writing. I wanted to be a filmmaker. In the ministry, I produced videos of all sorts. I wanted to be a musician. In the ministry, I had access to remarkable ways of creating original pieces with full orchestration. And I wanted to use my left brain logic and right brain art. Creating little entertainments on the computer filled the bill. In all these things, I was joyfully challenged. Note, these activities of creation are mostly individual pursuits. Perhaps that is why I also was charged with shepherding various congregations and getting close to over 1,000 people. Perhaps there are a few who feel that something special happened in their lives because of their relationship with me. But from my current perspective, I realize the world after my departure is very much like the world before my arrival. Walt Whitman, in his poem, "O Me, O Life," gives a very cogent answer to what life really means. Answer: that you are here, that life exists an identity, that the powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse. Life is like a bird flying into a lighted hall, sailing through and then back out into the darkness. I understand the I am that I am, and you are, as a manifestation of the I am itself, is like that bird. For the bird, other than in flight through the hall, has no beginning and no end. Like energy, which, according to science, can be neither created nor destroyed, the I am is not just the ground of being, it is being itself. All that exists is being itself. We, the I am that we are, have been blessed with the wonder of consciousness and consciousness of self. No other creature we know has this innate blessing. One night, Sherry and I watched an entire lunar eclipse. The cat was pouncing on bugs in the grass. The bugs were avoiding the cat. A bird flapped by. Only the humans noticed anything interesting about the moon. Sometimes I become frustrated because when I point at the moon, those listening argue about which finger I use to point. But how else can reality that is beyond our 3 dimensions, 4 walls, and 5 senses be described? Is it enough to be calmed by a forever heaven or terrified by a forever hell? Do we depend on a merry-go-round of reincarnated earthly journeys? Or do we just suffer our hopeless despair to the end? Fade to black. I, for one, learned that all this is not about the me. Out of that came a recognition of the deep presence of the I Am at the center of your being as well as mine. Whether you believe this or not does not matter. Just putting it in words is my legacy.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to click like and subscribe to hear more of Dave's life in music.